key, and I should be and am I online or am I not online? Oh, hello. Okay, apparently I am now alive. I can't see me yet. Oh, there I am. Okay, this is weird. It's like a 20-second delay for me seeing me. So, oh, there it is. There's me waving. So it might be less distracting if I watch unsupported resolution. What does that mean? Sorry about the low res. I'm still playing with it. So yeah, shout out to Erin for helping me set up OBS and basically learning how to do this. Live chat is active, but no one's actually watching right now. So, oh hello. Is that me or is that an actual person? This is my mic. So please let me know if I'm actually coming through okay and you can hear me. So some quick preliminary non-spoilery-ish thoughts before I start. Obviously if you've not seen Spyfall Part 1, then this is going to be... Hello, second person. This is going to be spoilers for the first episode of Doctor Who. So if you haven't seen that, feel free to stay along. But obviously this is going to give you spoilers for Spyfall Part 1 as well as Part 2. So because I've never done this before, I'm really not sure. Am I coming through? People who are watching, can you actually hear me? Or have I just been talking to the air? Stream health is amber, so I guess that's okay. I've never done it on my computer before. This is the thing. Previously I've been streaming from my phone. Sorry, I can't see that yet, so I've got the delay going on. So I can't... It is actually weird for me doing it like this. Oh, there it is. There's my phone. So if you... Yeah, basically I'm not au fait with doing it like this. It's very bizarre to me. It's also why the picture is very de-res, it's very low quality, because basically because it's this. I could probably play with the settings, I can probably do different things to make it more pretty. As you can see more of this, more of everything behind me. I'm not entirely happy about the thing. I've got it up on a basket as well, so that should hopefully be helping so I'm not slouching as much. Yeah, so if I drop to OBS, that's okay. So now I'm on OBS and I can see me in real time. Hello, me in real time. So I guess if I do that with OBS, whoop, let go, and then scroll that, then I should be able to see the chat and me and not be so distracted by the time delay. Yeah, because I don't want to be doing this for ages. Right, there we go. So that's the chat. So I don't want to be doing this for ages and then suddenly, like, okay, you know, I did this whole thing and basically you're just seeing someone in a hoodie with an awesome guitar picture behind them chatting to themselves for ages, because that'd be really embarrassing and weird. So if I do... Sorry, this is very... Now, when Aaron was helping me test it, he did say that he could hear me fine when he was watching it on YouTube, because that'd be really embarrassing and weird. Okay, there we go. That's... Basically, I just unmuted the live stream. Okay, so that's a lot of preamble. So yeah, this is going to contain spoilers for Spyfall Part 1, because obviously I'm talking about Spyfall Part 2. thing. So on my first part, I kind of speculated to the idea that O, the character of O, and who he ultimately turns out to be, could fit kind of anywhere, and a couple of people have done videos on this as well. What Trevor Says did a video saying this as well, which is basically that the Master O could fit in potentially pre-Jacoby, but I don't think so. But my theory, which Trevor seems to sort of be kind of go with 3 tracks, was that, hello third person, that he was either somewhere between Sim Master, for clarity I'll call him Saxon for now because it's just easier, or just Sim Master, I don't know, I'm saying, and Gomez. Now I think O would fit better between Sim and Gomez, just because, you know, then regenerates into Gomez, and because Missy went through a lot. Oh, by third person. Missy went through a lot of personal character growth and evolution, and there are some people like the idea of but now the Master's gone evil again, and I don't like it, and that's sort of fair. So I like. The other reason I like the idea of O fitting in between Saxon and Missy is because usually, has always been, I've just got an alert saying that I'm live. That's kind of weird. Usually the oh no, someone's retweeting me. Cool. Usually the Doctor and the Master seem to meet each other in order, and that is it's fine, it's fair enough. But I actually kind of like the idea. Oh look, there I am. I kind of like the idea of them not meeting in order. That the Doctor knows at least one incarnation ahead of the Master. So basically, the Doctor met Missy, and she died. She was killed. Apparently, it has been suggested that when Sim Master shot Missy, that stopped her regeneration. Possibly, but we still didn't see her die or regenerate, so we don't know. So O could still potentially be post Gomez, but I do like the idea of her being him being in between, partly because it means that the Doctor, because the Doctor's regenerated to a woman, I'd like her to continue being a woman, at least for a few regenerations. And the same for the Master. The Master was male. Oh, I've gone green. And now I'm mad again. The Master was male, and now they are female, and I'd like that to continue along their timeline. So if O fits before Gomez, then yeah, that's basically that. That is 2 watching live. So, can I hear this if I put my phone? Hello? Okay, okay, cool. Alright, so basically there is...
How may I be of assistance?
Thank you, Google. There you go. You can hear me, that's awesome. So I haven't been just talking to myself, that's just weird. Alright, cool. So yeah, that's my, where I'd like it to be. As of right now and this episode, we don't know for definite where O fits in on the Master's timeline. But I like the idea that they could now be out of sync instead of being, Doctor Master. It's now Doctor Master. You know what I mean? Like our Doctor, Jodie, has somehow skipped over, Capaldi. Because I think, you know what? Thinking about it, I think Peter Capaldi is the only Doctor that. Okay, there were a couple of different versions of Crispy Master. I think Tom Baker worked with both of them. I still haven't seen every single episode of Tom Baker's era. There's a lot of them. But in terms of definitive Master personalities, I'm pretty sure Capaldi's the only one that's worked with two different versions of the Master with Sim and Gomez, and obviously, Sim was over from Tennant as well, and I still think it's a shame that Matt Smith didn't get to work with him. The Matt Smith should have had a Master episode, but it is what it is. So, with all that preamble-y, mastery stuff out the way, this particular episode, this is what I brought you here to talk about. I really liked it. I thought it was really good. It pretty much, well, you get the previously on before the credits, and then you have the episode, and oh god, it was so much fun. So it pretty much picks up straight away. The Doctor is in the weird matrixy place where Yaz ended up, and the fam are on the plane, slightly bricking it, but whatever. So they're all kind of flailing about and going yeah, because you would. And as Ryan's on the floor, he sees a metal brass plate thingy saying Ryan. He's like, what? And he goes to the next thing. He goes like, Ryan Sinclair, hey. And then he goes to the next one. It's like seat number like 40C or where it is, the seat right next to him. And there is a flyer, how to land a plane without a cockpit. And essentially the Doctor has sent him a message from, well, we find out later how she did it, but has put an app on his phone and given him instructions on how to land the plane. Which actually turns out is relatively easy, big with the app and the way that the plane is super advanced. Because it is super advanced, but it's like yeah, basically the app connects to the onboard computers, and then the onboard computers and the program, the pre-programmed flight path, pretty much takes over. Once they've got them leveled off, and Graham's remembered to shut the cockpit doors, that is kind of essentially how they save. It is clever, and you still got the drams of how they're going to get down and how they're going to be safe. But it's it's not a long scene. It doesn't need to be a long scene. It's got just the right amount of tension for being like the opening sequence. And the way the Doctor set up the video was very funny, because she was like, "Yes, I am. I guess of course I can. Don't talk to the video. It's pre-recording. Obviously, you can't hear you." And like everyone started panicking. And Graham's like, "We're not panicking." He said, "Especially you, Graham. And what did I just tell you about talking to the video?" So that was really funny. I appreciated that. So yeah. So the fam are basically they land. You get a seat with Barton and the Master, where he discovers that they've landed safely and are not dead. So he then basically with Ryan, Yaz, and Graham, it is kind of a chase through London. They land in Essex, in the right time zone, obviously, because they're not time traveling at that point. And for their storyline, it's basically them going off grid, because obviously Barton's got all their information, because technology, tech genius. And yeah, so they're basically keeping their heads down, trying not to get caught until it's strategically relevant for them to be caught, because they can. So that's kind of their storyline until they kind of get to this warehouse area where Barton's keeping his mum, but we'll get back to that. So their storyline is basically, not getting killed, which is a pretty good thing to be. At one point they're like discussing the fact they've still got their spy gadgets, and Graham has his laser shoes, which he hasn't read the instructions for, and Ryan has missile cufflinks. So there is a point where, because they go onto a building construction site, like a new street being built, hide in one of the houses. The dang it, they said this name several times and now I've forgotten how to say it. Kasavians, the glowy aliens. I've just put my hands in my pockets and stop just gesticulating so much. They surround them, so they're like, do the shoes, like just do the laser shoes. So he's like, tapping his feet and like they're pew pew. And he's like, I don't know how to do that. I ain't better, I'm just pointing you. Fine, don't panic, just dance. So basically, Graham dances around and just shoots them and gets a couple of them colour headshots, and they go, bleh. So that was really funny. The Master and Barton have a scene on the Master's TARDIS, which is what turns out, is his house, is his TARDIS. How the Master got a TARDIS after the last time we saw them, that's uncertain. Because Yana didn't have a TARDIS. Saxon stole the Doctor's TARDIS and turned it into a Paradox Machine. I don't think Missy ever had a TARDIS. So, so basically the Master, this is the first time I think the Masters had their own TARDIS since the classic series. Unless I'm wrong, please feel free to correct me. Still not had any chat. I don't know how I feel about that, but I'm glad you two are here and enjoying yourselves. Hopefully. I've been told one of them's probably me, so it's probably me and a bot. But that's cool. I'm still doing. So yeah, so that's they have a scene. This is where Barton discovers that the fam are safe, because he's like, but they're supposed to be dead. You told me they'd be dead, and the Master's like, well, I don't know. She should be dead. Why didn't she die? What is with her? Well, how? Oh, so the Master's not happy about it. It's quite a nice little sort of two-hander with them, but nothing major. It does confirm that they are in cahoots, which is a good word. I like cahoots. So that's kind of their scenes. And that's really kind of the only time you see Barton and the Master together, but it does confirm that they are working together. And I'm still not used to my hand being the wrong side. So yeah. So that does that. Brain thoughts. So the Doctor is where a lot of the more interesting story stuff happens, and as it should be. It's her name on the title. She should get the meat of the story. So while she's in the tenderly matrixy thing, she initially starts talking to herself, like, all right, yeah, I'm the Doctor. You alright? Yeah, I'm fine. What are you doing? Just talking to myself, just trying to calm down. And what would I tell the fam? What would I say to them? So she's kind of working through it in her own head, and then she hears a voice of this 1900s, 1800s? Yeah, 1800s lady, so it's the 19th century lady, and this person, Ada, is actually pretty chill to be where she is. She's like, oh yes, I've been here before. I'm currently in a paralysis. My body is in paralysis, and I'll wake up at some point. And the Doctor's like, where do you think you are? She's like, well, I perceive this place to be my mind. So she's obviously intelligent and quite chill. And one of the Kasavians appears behind her, and the Doctor's obviously a little bit freaked. He's like, no, it's fine. It's my guardian. So she's very cool. I like her. So Ada basically says, oh, I'll be waking up soon. You take my hand, you'll come with me. And the Doctor's like, how do you know? Like, well, how do you not know? And like, she starts fading away, and she's like, make a decision, Doctor. And the Doctor's like, okay, fine. They wake up in London it's specifically 1834. Yeah. And now I'm going to have to look this up because I'm not sure the story. Basically, they wake up in some kind of exhibition hall where people are showing off their steampunky weapons. Devices. Two are definitely weapons. One's a kind of a proto Gatling gun. Another's a grenade. There's a few other devices, and that's all very cool. So it's all like, posh men, top hats, and some ladies, and very, very good thing. And Ada's friend and associate, it's like, oh, are you okay? How are you up for this spell? So obviously he's pretty chill about her having a paralysis episode. And he obviously helps her up and says, "Oh yes, I'm fine, thank you for asking, Mr. Babbage." Um, and the doctor, "I'm fine as well. Thanks for asking." And like, "What is this place?" And, he's like, "Ma'am, I've seen some extraordinary things in this very room, but you coming from nowhere, how did you do that?" And she sort of looks around and sort of commands the room and says, "You've seen all this stuff. Now you've seen the magical appearing man. Wait, woman every time." So yeah, she tries to pull off her miraculously turning up as a trick, which is cool. If you're gonna explain it, it's as good a way as any. And yeah, so the master then comes in appropriate, and to be fair, he looks amazing. I do have to say, Sasha Dewan is his name. I forgot the actor's name previous time to mention it, but I didn't realise until somebody else pointed it out. But he was Morris in Adventures in Space and Time. Basically, he played the director of the very first episodes of Doctor Who, and I honestly really enjoyed his performance in that. I just didn't make the connection, which I think is good. Unless you know the actor, unless it's like someone who's sort of, I don't say more famous. I don't watch a huge amount of TV, but even like with certain character actors, and someone else mentioned in the comments or on Twitter about wanting this actor to play the Doctor at some point, but now the Doctor, he's playing the Master, and they're happy about that. But unless there's someone like, really like a household name, like any of the previous Doctors, like, any sort of big TV actor or film actor you can think of, generally speaking, a lot of actors, unless you're used to seeing them a lot, like a lot of character actors, unless you're used to seeing them a lot on TV, you're not necessarily going to oh, it's that guy from that thing. So I take that as a compliment. I would put that as a compliment. It's like, I did immediately recognise him as this thing from someone else because their performance here is so different. So, I apologise for not recognising them, but again, I don't necessarily see that as an insult towards them. In fact, it's probably more of a compliment. So there. So essentially, the person that the lady Ada, the Doctors found themselves with, is Ada Gordon at the time, but becomes Ada Lovelace, who works with Charles Babbage, who is basically, they built one of the first computers. Now, they did say what it was, something about solving quadratic equations, but I can't remember exactly. So probably won't pick up on my mic, so I'll do it the old-fashioned way. Google, open up. Not you, calm yourself. Charles Babbage, there he is. Charles Babbage, KHRFS, was an engineer, polymath, mathematician, philosopher, inventor, mechanical engineer. Babbage originated the concept of digital programmable computer. 26th September, he was born on Boxing Day. 1791 to 18th of October, 1871. So, good life, I think, if I've got the maths right. Yeah, about 80 years. Which is not bad for the 18th, 19th century. There he is. Oh, there we go. There's Mr. Babbage. Yeah, so known associates would be... Oh, someone's done something. Yeah, so that's him. Considered to be by some the father of computers, Babbage is credited with inventing the first mechanical computer that eventually led to more complex electronic designs, though essentially the idea of modern computers to be found in Babbage's analytical engineers. He very worked in other fields that described preeminent amongst polymaths in the centuries. Yeah, so basically he's a genius, and then she, Augusta Ada King, Countess of Lovelace, née Byron, English mathematician and writer, chiefly known for her work on Charles Babbage proposed mechanical general purpose computer, the analytical engine. She was the first to recognise the machine had applications beyond pure calculations and published the first algorithm intended to be carried out by such a machine. As a result, she is sometimes regarded as the first to recognise the full potential of a computing machine and one of the first computer programmers. So that's who the Doctor was chilling out with. And sorry, I've lost a person, but learning. The Doctor is all about learning, so that's cool. And as they were characterised in the show, I did like them. So yeah, the Master was this in the exhibition hall because she pulls them all to one side, like they all calm and say, right, and Ada's to the Doctor, so he's like, right, now we're safe. What? And the Doctor basically tells her the truth. You know, I'm a time traveller. I'm from another planet. I got stuck here in the place that we met, and like you brought me forward. And she's like, don't insult my intelligence. Like, I'm not. That's why I'm telling you the truth. At this point, the Master obviously tracked her down and is coming in with his steampunk version of the TCE. And yeah, he's a little bit manic in these first moments. He's like, look at this, everyone, look at me, and with the incredible shrinking machine, he like randomly, zaps a couple of people, and they like go the teeny tiny size. Actually, the TCE's really come a long way, because I think originally the models were like maybe this big. This is a dog that my partner found, and unfortunately his butt needs fixing. And now they're like, yay big. So the TCE's come a long way. So he's a bit manic, but manic in a way that you can sort of, because he's being very very showman-y. He does calm down. He calms down an awful lot. At one point, it's like she basically comes out and says, "All right, no, let them all go. I'm fine. I'm here." And he's like, "Get on your knees." She's like, "Fine." Does call me by my name. She says, "Master." "What? Can't hear you." "Master." Can't hear. She doesn't actually say it really loud. She's like, "Master." It's like, "And how did you get here anyway?" She's like, "You don't know." So then she realised, oh, hang on, I've still got an edge over you here. So yeah, basically they have a bit of blustering back and forth, and Ada basically tells everyone to hit the dirt, well, to get down, and she used the Gatling gun thing that was sort of Chekhoved earlier. Yeah, she basically shoots it. "I don't approve of this. Everyone run!" Like she pulled, like, they get the grenade. The Master yeets it out of there. They end up at Babbage's place, which is where the Doctor learns where she is. Now, there is an item that I mentioned in the first review that I wasn't sure it would be important or not, but it was brought to our attention, and that being the weird 3D statue in the glass box. Turns out it is kind of important because Babbage has it in his office, and it, when activated, projects the conservatives. I'm probably saying it wrong. The glowy aliens, who are confirmed to be transdimensional. Yeah. So the Silver Lady, yeah, is actually very important to the whole thing. Get quite warm. Let me just turn my head down. So yeah, the Doctor works this all out. Basically, fangirls over Babbage and Ada. She's like, okay, so if I do this, if I activate this, this will bring them along, and then I can get back through the Matrix. All right, cool. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Keep things going. She activates the lady, the glowy alien turns up, and before she disappears, Ada basically grabs her hand and drags herself in with the Doctor, which kind of throws off their trajectory through time. So instead of waking up in 21st century England, I'm guessing the Doctor was hoping to be back in Sheffield, or at least in Essex, where the fam were, somewhere close to her, somewhere close to her TARDIS. But anyway, they don't. They wake up in Paris during wartime, specifically 1943. So yeah, definitely in the middle of everything. And I've lost everyone. I don't care. I'm still talking because that's what I'm here for. And someone will catch up with it later. Um, more people are just doing stuff. Who's tweeting and texting? I've really got to learn to ignore my thingy while I'm doing that. So they are met with obviously a local French lady who, as it turns out, isn't quite that local or French, but she hides them. The master comes along dressed as a Nazi general, and given the fact that he is Asian, that does come up later on. Is he Indian? He is Sacha Darwin is a brown actor. Actually, I'm going to look that up because I don't want to get his race wrong. But yeah, so basically, they get hidden. That's the bit in the trailer where you see, I'm not where I want to be, but I can work with this. Yeah, so it turns out that the person who finds them is the first female spy to be dropped on enemy lines. Basically, she's a communicator. Was it codename Madeline or something? Called her. Let me just look up the episode and get the full credits properly. Why did Cancelled Geeks come up when I clicked on Jodie Whittaker's name? Well done, Nathaniel. You've made it to IMDb. Right, let's get the cast. Episodes cast: Toast and Cole, Mandip Gill, Piffy Baker. Why are you? Okay. Noor Inayat Khan, who I assume is again another historical figure. So she's basically that's weird. They've got most of the cast missing. She helps them. Basically, she's got all this equipment, like the essentially she's got a Morse code tapper machine, and so the doctor starts. Takes it long. So he says, "All right, I've got a plan, and you girls are gonna help. You guys are gonna help me. You'll be awesome. You'll help me." So she starts tapping out what we presume is some kind of message, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, which in Morse code is H, but she keeps doing it and doing it, and Noor's like, but that's not a code, that's not a real thing, and she says it's not a message, it's something else. And then as it was doing it, I suddenly called it, oh yeah, it's the drums, it's the four, this is the heartbeat, it's the message from the master. Which is why I think O is definitely post Sim, simply because Yana never mentioned anything about hearing drums or anything in his head, even before he remembered himself, and obviously the classic Doctor's never had that, so the drums is definitely something unique to Sim, or it started unique with Sim, because Missy never really spoke about them afterwards either, so it is a very distinct message that only O and other Time Lords could get. So yeah, they then this is very cool, because O hears it, responds back, and then they connect. They do a whole telepathy thing. And he's like, "Ooh, old school." So, well, you're not the only one who can go classic. So they have a little thing like, "Meet me where you know where." So obviously now we're up on the top of the Eiffel Tower, and this is honestly, I think, one of the best scenes. And I say best scenes because it is a long dialogue two-hander between the Doctor and the Master, but it's kind of, there's a couple of bits that happen in between it, and it's basically them on top of the Eiffel Tower, and the Doctor's like, "Oh, this reminds me, didn't make out what she said properly. I don't think it's a communication tower on top of Logopolis, but that's the only one that would make sense because that's the only time that I remember that they were both up high. Could be wrong. Happy to be corrected. So yeah, that was, they're talking about that, and he's like, "Did I ever apologise for that?" I said, "Nope." Good. she does ask, how did you, you're not exactly the Aryan, talking about your outfit. It's not exactly the Aryan ideal, are you? And he's like, oh, about perception filters, it's a simple mental trick that they can do. He's like, oh, okay, yeah, fair enough. And yeah, so they're just basically having this back and forth. She's explaining, she's basically got him monologuing and explaining the plan. While this is happening, there's some scenes bouncing between Ada and Nor, essentially saying, who is that? Why do you trust her? Well, I trust her because she just seems brilliant, and I feel like I can trust her. And what is this thing anyway? Yeah, Nor. The doctor left them a mobile phone. They go out and explore Paris, and I'm like, well, that doesn't look like it belongs here. And I was like, no. Well, the doctor told us to find anything unusual. They then call her, basically, like, use the device. And Ada's like, boop. I think it was speed dial 2 from where her finger position was. There was no flip phone as well. So that was kind of funny. Yeah, so they do that. The doctor's like, excuse me, sorry, I've international intergalactic roaming. They're probably just wondering, where I've been, or you haven't cleared for them for 5 minutes. He's dead. So she's like fiddling around, the phone, sonic screwdriver, all this stuff, sending a signal. Oh, before Ada and before Nor left, they basically sent a signal as well. So that's fun. So all that's going on. So yeah, I can't remember all the details. Basically, the dialogue scene between the Doctor and the Master in this is any time the Doctor and the Master can just sit down or stand up and just be together and talk. That's kind of cool. And I really genuinely enjoyed that scene. So yeah, they basically, and this is where I think we're going to get into the heavy spoilers soon. I was going to look up Sacha Dharan, find out, about him, because for some reason he's not. There he is, Sacha Dharan. Was born in Bramhill, Stockport to Hindu parents. I guess he's British. And went to Roman Catholic. Okay, so born to Hindu parents, went to a Roman Catholic school. That's kind of cool. Okay, so we'll go with Indian. Hindu parents, we'll go with Indian. So yeah, I've lost track. Basically, he asks her, when was the last time you went home? When was the last time you went to Gallifrey? And she's like, why? It's been a while. How do I describe it? Burnt, nuked, compressed, destroyed, all of the things. The planet's, everyone is all. And he's like, do you hear voices? So, okay, now we're getting towards the final act, so I'm going to hold up my spoiler zone card now. So she's basically set him up. She sent a message back saying, oh, well done on being a double agent and sending all this information back to the about the Nazis back to the UK. Oh, and by the way, that perception filter, really easy to get rid of. So she basically zaps his face, yeets it out of there. He gets surrounded by these Nazis, and he's like, huh. So that happens. So now we're getting into more, definitely, spoiler zone stuff. And everyone's gone, so hey, whatever. We do catch up with Barton, and he's walking into the warehouse. Oh, hello. He's walking into the warehouse, and you see this lady tied up. Before that happens is when the fam. Basically, you see Yaz making a call on just a normal red box, normal regular phone box. Basically, her sister answers, I'm fine, we're fine, don't trust anyone, don't open the door, don't do this, just let everyone know I'm okay. And you see it cuts to someone like doing the whole tracer thing, and you think, oh god, yeah, come on, get off the phone, you're being traced. No, that was the plan. They made the call knowing that they'd be traced. Graham basically shoots them with his shoes, which is a sentence I just said. um, so they steal their car and phone basically, and are taken, or the GPS, it takes them. They've got the next destination programmed in it, which is this warehouse area where we see this old lady who is confirmed to be Barton's mum. So I'm just going to say it straight away. Basically, mum is tied to the chair and barely says anything. Excuse me. And he's like, "Is this because I went to America? Come on, I'm home. I'm here. You know, can't you be? I run the world. I try to contact you. I try to friend you on Facebook, and I never use Facebook unless I have to." Fine. Look, I just brought you here. You know, I'm famous. I've changed the world, and like, I just want you to be proud. Like, well, say well done. She's like, well done. Like, really sarcastic. So, go, mum. You know. So yeah, that's kind of all happening. He's a little bit things. So, well, actually, I just brought you here because today's the end of the world, and you're going to be the first. So all these Kasabians, you know, I knew I'd end up calling Kasabian if I tried to use it for them. So all the aliens surround her and do a lightning show, and like basically she's dead as far as we know. The fam catch up with her later on and see that she's there, and like, why is this lady sort of sat here? And Barton contacts them. Do you think my people wouldn't tell me where you are? Take care of my mum for me. Like, so he's kind of gloaty. So he ends up doing this presentation, and it's really well done. It's one of those like you see like I wouldn't call it a TED Talk thing kind of thing, but he is doing a presentation. So anytime you've seen a tech company doing a presentation, he's got things, he's got lights behind the audience, everyone paying attention. Like, he's doing this speech. It's like, we put this in your hands. We gave you these pieces of plastic and chips, and you gave us all your information, all your mother's passwords, all your mother's maiden names, all this stuff. You kept clicking agree, and we told you, of course, your information's safe. Because, you know. And yeah, he's like, and now it's the end of the world. So through all this, the doctor was like, what is it? What's the connection? What's between humans and DNA and computers and all this stuff? And this is kind of the combination, because I actually came to this thing myself. Like, DNA contains a lot of information. You can carry a lot in DNA. And yeah, that's basically because they were working out what the 7% non-human was in Barton. And I guess the implication was it's information, it's new software, because he's like the proof of concept essentially. So yeah, basically he's given a speech, which is a very good speech. It's very powerful. I mean, you know, Sir Lenny Henry is started as a stand-up comedian. He can work an audience. He has a great stage presence. Even any actor can do that, but it does really sort of like, oh yeah, this guy's giving a good speech, very compelling. And he sends, I can send a message to every single device in the world. And then obviously he clicks the button and everyone sort of says, no, fine, you know, read the message. He puts it up on the monitors behind it. Humanity is about to die. You have 3 minutes to repair. And everyone's sort of laughing. Yeah, you're laughing. Except, no, you shouldn't be. So, yeah. Everyone's phones start going zappy, they're all holding it, and like, electronics, and we cut to Yaz's family down on the computer, and like the mum and sister on various devices. Everyone's getting zapped, and when this is happening, Ryan, Yaz, and Graham are still in the thing. The Silver Lady's there, so she's basically going like the whirling dervisher, and that they work out, this thing is causing all that to happen. The glowy aliens come out again, because I don't want to keep calling Kasabian. And yeah, they're basically, whoa, this happened. Shoot it! No, shoot didn't work. Oh, try the missile. No, that didn't work. Oh, right. So I should point out the Doctor took over the Master's TARDIS, because you actually do see the house. It's like, he didn't even change the appearance. Hello, I've derped. Why have I derped? There we go. Didn't even change the appearance. How arrogant is that? Yeah, so the Doctor, Ada, and Nor basically travel a little bit. She brings them forward with her. They come along later. Basically, yeah. So he's, because the electric storm stops. He goes, extraction team, extraction, get me out of here. What's going on? He basically leaves the auditorium, makes it to the warehouse himself. What did you do to my device? Why did it stop? Why is it stopped? And she's like, the family like, we don't know. And the doctor comes in dramatically. Like, I do. Short version, she went back through time, realised it was something to do with computing, and just tinkered just here and there. She saw it was in Barton's office, so went back about a year and a half beforehand. Set a kill program in it, which basically says if a build-up of the aliens is in your proximity, kill yourself in a couple of minutes. So she did that. Barton's office not happy about it. The Master then burst in and said, was it 70, 90 years? Because basically, last we saw him, he was on the Eiffel Tower surrounded by Nazis. Apparently he got away from them, but his TARDIS was gone. So he lived through history, which is also kind of interesting. That's the places I've escaped from. Now, I made a tweet in the week because I had this epiphany. Saxon was active during the late aught, early 10s. Missy was in the vault for centuries. And O was working for MI6 for at least 10 years, possibly a bit longer. For definite. So that means during the late aughts, early 10s, there was 3 versions of the Master running around. That was my tweet. That was what I actually tweeted. With Master O having had lived... That sounds weird, Master O. With Darwin Master having lived through, several decades of Earth history. That means technically there were 4 versions of the Master. Four versions of the Master, and 2 of them were the same person. That's an idea that I'd like to see if they're going to come back to, because that's interesting. That's really interesting. That means he would have lived through the Year of Hell with Saxon and everything else. That's an interesting concept. There's story potential there. Big Fish, get on that. So yeah, short again, because we're already running to nearly 50 minutes now. He's not happy about it, and Barton's like, "What did you do?" He's like, "Oh, she did it," and yeah. So he is like, "Oh, you're gonna have to explain it to them," and the doctor's like, "Am I?" and plays a recording she made of him saying, "Off the Eiffel Tower thing." And basically, once I'm done, I'm going to kill all of them, I'm going to kill Barton and just take over myself, and with your precious human race out of my way, they're gone. Yeah, they didn't like that when they heard it, so he's like, no, and he just basically, again, sort of legs it out of there, sort of, and, because, like, so the ladies are with the Doctor and the family like, so who are they? Are we being replaced? No, you're not. This is Ada Lovelace and Nor Khan. We're gonna I'm just dropping them off. They're from the 18th and 19th century. So she takes them home. She has a conversation with Nor, and she's like, "Do the fascists win?" No, not while people like me are alive. There is a moment earlier on where Ada's watching the war basically. It's like, my God, I wanted to come back to Paris at some point, but to see it like this, and no, it's fine. Yeah, there's darkness, but there's always light after darkness, and so that's kind of some sweet moments. The Doctor basically drops off Nor and Ada, memory wipes, because Ada's like, I don't want to, you'll work it out yourself. You'll be fine. When she's unconscious, the Doctor sort of, so that was a really sweet moment. So before she picks up the fam again, she does go to Gallifrey, and it is absolutely devastating. And I'm watching this and I'm thinking, that's not the Time War, because the Master even makes allusion to it being hiding away in this little bubble. That wasn't the Time War. that's something else. The dome is completely destroyed. The fires, everything is just it is post-apocalyptic. Um, so you see her sat in the TARDIS on her own, sort of cuddling and hugging herself, and a thing in her pocket, sort of, it's a proximity, a geo thing, and a projection of the Master basically comes out of it, and he's like, if you're seeing this, you went to Gallifrey, and I wasn't lying about the devastation. Oh, by the way, I did it. Because of the lie they told, the child lost in time, who I think we've definitely had the child lost in time, but I can't remember if it was with Jodie's doctor or with Capoli's doctor. But I've definitely heard the child lost in time before the lost child, and you see flashes of stuff, and it's like, yeah, it's there, it's deeply buried within us, it's with all of us. It's like the lie they told us, about our race, about everything from the founding fathers. And again, I'm like, Omega? What's going on here? So there's some deep lore stuff going on. So yeah, and that's basically it. She catches up with the fam. They ask her questions because, previously they're like, well, she never tells us anything, even though we ask. And she does confirm, yes, I am the Doctor. I am a time traveler. I was born on the planet, Gallifrey, in the Serbian, whichever galaxy it was in. And she says, yeah, basically, I'm a traveller in time. I stole the TARDIS and kept running. Questions? They're like looking at her, and then Graham's like, well, lots. And then it's like, can we go? Can we see your home? And she's like, not right now. So yeah, that's kind of the it. She sort of, she's kind of go quiet. They've, they all kind of like, okay, fair enough, and they're off to the next adventure. And yeah, the teaser for the next one is basically some kind of mega spa. I think it's called Tranquility. That's the name of the place. I know that's actually the name of the episode. And like, why would you need like this membrane thing around this, treatment place? And there's an actor in it, I think is one of the ones from In-Betweeners. I haven't really seen In-Betweeners, but I recognise his face. He's got green hair. I don't know if that's an alien thing or a treatment thing. And yeah, you do see like alien claws across the wall somewhere, so clearly that's a danger. So that's next week's episode, so that looks good. So as I said at the beginning of this, and thanks for anyone who stuck around, but I've noticed people been bouncing on and off. I liked this episode. I thought it was really good. As people have pointed out, and this is the person saying this is obviously specifically talking about Doctor Who, but it's kind of a thing sometimes in movies as well. Like, part one's never quite good as part two's never quite good as part one. I would say that this could be a solid exception to the rule, in the fact that whilst they had different feels to them, because obviously part one was establishing a lot of stuff and just sort of the spy stuff. This one is more of a chase in time, like how is the Doctor going to get back to the time where at the very least her TARDIS is and companions to carry on do what they need to do. And then you've got moments with like the fam saying like, oh, what are we gonna do now? So we're gonna do what we always do. We have to save the world. We'll do what we'll uncover Bart and we'll get the conspiracy sorted out. We'll save the day. So the two parts definitely had a bit of a different feel to them, but I think they definitely stand up on each other. Obviously, they don't work as self-contained stories because they're not. They are definitely a two-part story, but as individual parts, they are strong. They definitely hold up against each other quite well, and I like the fact that I guess you could call it a genre flip, because originally part one kind of is the spy thing. Part two is chasing time and like keeping off the grid and saving yourself and like saving the world. Honestly, I think it was great. The excuse me, the two ladies playing Ada and Nor themselves were very good, very well in their parts. I don't recognise them from other stuff, but again, I haven't watched a lot of television recently. Once the Master calms down and isn't being quite so manic, Yeah, I'm really enjoying this incarnation so far. I think it's interesting. I like it when, like I said, I like it when the Doctor and the Master just have moments and just be and just talk. I think that's kind of cool. And yeah, they bounce off of each other very well. The scenes where you first see the Master as a hologram, that's quite. It does feel quite sincere. It's like, yeah, we're the last two. I need to tell you this stuff. Um, yeah, I don't really give ratings. But I give it a couple of thumbs up. It's really, I did enjoy it. I think it was a solid follow up. And yeah, we've got a bit of a inkling of an overarching plot, which last series didn't have. It's kind of a weird one. So ever since the series came back, there's been the overarching thought. There's been Bad Wolf. There's been Tortured. There's been Saxon. Then the missing planets, the bees, all that kind of stuff. All kind of have this overreaching arc, mystery box type stuff. I don't mind that, but I can understand how other people can say, "Oh, another overarching plot." Buffy had overarching plots with which whichever the monster of the season was. X-Files kind of dipped in and out of having that. It sort of had an overarching plot, which kind of got crazy after a few seasons. But so as a concept, the overarching plot versus single episodes isn't a bad thing. It's just it is what it is, and I quite like it. I like the idea of having something to what was that? Something just flashed. I like the idea of having something to sort of intrigue and sort of play at the back of your mind. So yeah, I don't mind the overarching plot. It looks like there is one, which is the Child in Time, which like I said, I think that was first heard with Capaldi. I can't remember. I haven't rewatched. Basically, I haven't rewatched any of Capaldi's era or any of Jodie's first series. I don't think. Basically, in terms of Matt Smith, I've rewatched up to Angels in Manhattan. I haven't rewatched all of Clara's episodes yet. At least not recently. So that's basically on my rewatch. That's where I'm at. So if I'm fuzzy on the more recent stuff, it's because I haven't. Basically, the last time I watched them was the first time they were on. But yeah, overall, really enjoyed it. Really good fun. Really good acting all round. The fam were kind of like sidelined a little bit, but what they had to work with was good, and I liked the way they were used. Yeah, and the Doctor teaming up with two strong women through history. Some might call it agenda. I call it kind of awesome because there are awesome women in history. Yeah, that is pretty much it. I don't know if I'm going to play with my settings, maybe make the picture a bit better, but my thing's bouncing around like crazy. I don't know what's going on there. So I'm going to wrap this up. I've said everything I can think I can say. If you have been watching, or you're one of these people who's bounced in and out, thank you. I appreciate it. If you're watching this later on, and hopefully if I've done this correctly, it will upload itself. I am recording through OBS, so I'm not sure how it works. But that's that. So yeah, if you watch live, cool, thank you, appreciate it. I would say if you've got any questions, but nobody's been chatting to me. If you're watching it later, again, thank you, appreciate it. Yeah, like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the bell, all that algorithm stuff, all the stuff that keeps things going. I've been chatting for nearly an hour, although the clock seems to stop. Huh, that's weird. Alright, I'm gonna say goodbye now. Thanks for watching. Bye. Now see. Alright, and everything's gone to sleep. There we go. Okay, sorry. I'm trying to end the stream, but everything's going weird. Alright, I've been Michelle. You've been watching. Bye.